Could you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, yes, my name's Carol Douglas. I live here in San Francisco.
And we're here on the first day of the fee, and I see through your tag you're a library. You're a voluntary librarian in the Botanical Garden Society Library that's on the grounds here of what is formerly called Striving Arboretum, and Botanical Gardens is now called San Francisco Botanical Garden and at Striving Arboretum. And I guess the ultimate goal is just to call it the San Francisco Botanical Garden and totally delete the Helen Striving part, although she's the person that gave the money and had the vision for this place in the original. And John McLaren, who used WPA work labor to help build this initially, and then a lot of people volunteered over the decades like yourself. So how do you feel about the fees that they're in effect here?
I'm actually very upset about this. I live excuse me, I live here in the city, so it won't affect me per se, but all of my family lives just outside the city or south of here, and when they come and they see that price, we're just simply not going to come here. We're going to turn around and go to other parts of the park. But I think, first of all, that $7 is far too much, that $2, a token thing or something, might have been just barely, tolerable, but it's way too much. And also, I think that coming to the park and coming to the Arboretum is what people do when they can't afford to go to the theater. In some ways, it's something that's open, that's good for your soul, and that we need this sort of beauty, and then to have to pay for it and really, in effect, be denied the opportunity to enjoy this beautiful place. I just am very much against that. I don't think it's right.
And do you think these fees will make money?
That I have no idea. I hate to comment on that, and I can understand the need to raise money. I just think that they're they're regressive in a sense, and but, I think a lot of people will turn away and just not come.
But members get in free.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I can see two sides of that. I guess I'd be even more upset if I lived here and still had to pay, which is what I thought it would be. But if all of us citizens of San Francisco had been made to pay, we probably would have protested this more, and this would have had a harder time getting.
Well, there are several aspects that are not explored. For example, the gates are closed or access is restricted. The hours have been cut, and also our friends and family and relatives and visitors from abroad, anyone, we're not privileged to meet. We don't have freedom of association because people were screened out, and the last admission is an hour before, so you're not going to be able to come in after. They're effectively cutting the admission even more because you might want to come here at 4:30 normally and stay until 6, but now they're going to be doing sweeps and throwing people out. So it's a really,
Well, yes, there are many ramifications to something like this.
And also, it was the grounds for the fees were that we needed revenue for $240,000, which is supposed to come from this for three gardener positions. Otherwise, they have to cut 3 gardener positions, but there are 950 or so employees of the Recreation and Park Department. So why hold 3 gardeners up to hostage without seeing if you can cut something else elsewhere? Also, besides which, it's been in the agenda of the society for 2 decades to have these fees, and they paid Sam Loucher, a lobbyist, $10,000 a month to go lobby the supervisors, and they would bring along a trustee in tow to influence them. So it hasn't been a fair process, and as far as I know, the only 2 people who have input on this contract have been Michael McKechnie, the director, and Phil Ginsberg, who is Newsom's point man in Rec and Park, and has pushed this through without any community meetings or without any feedback from the community, and seems to be absolutely averse to the idea of having any sort of feedback. And he believes that, he doesn't really believe in democracy, and that's what I get the feeling from these people, that it's really about excluding people, that they don't want people to come here, that they want the place to be guarded. This is a museum, and we don't really have a right to have this as our community commons, and we do pay our tax dollars for this, and this fee is not going to make an input into our tax dollars, but it is going to really hurt tourism in San Francisco, I believe. And the same thing with the fees on the Coy Tower. Charging people surcharges doesn't make any sense in a depression when you're trying to attract people, when you're a tourist city. But there is no vision in the Board of Supervisors, so they voted for this. And none of us can understand why. We got called names by several supervisors, Avalos and Daly, for supporting this, and it was really very, very, very distressing to see this type of reaction and see this city
Well,
doesn't listen to people.
I haven't followed all the political ins and outs of this, and I tend to look at a lot of political decisions as moral decisions at heart. And I think something that will keep people from coming in here simply because they don't have enough money is just morally wrong.
Reprehensible.
Yeah, that's my position. Even though I can understand how difficult it is for institutions to make money, especially when they depend
Right.
on donations from wealthy people.
But again, this is not their private fiefdom, despite what they think, and their feudal flags outside, which I believe the city also paid for. I don't know because we can't get information like that for certain, but you know, it's not fair to be asking the state government for $7 million for a greenhouse, for your $13 million greenhouse, at the same time, you know, you're charging admission. So that's really doesn't make a lot of sense to me.